Hey, what's up, guys? Star Wars Real Talk here. In for something a little bit more casual today. Today, I was just kind of hoping that we could talk a little bit about the new shows that are coming up. And a lot of my streams have been with guests lately, or I've been gaming, but I haven't really just sat down and had a discussion with you guys. So I figured I'd do that today. Also, I'd like to add that I'm aware that my stream time is garbage. I usually stream at the worst possible time. No one's usually around, and I'll explain why. But I'm going to try and make it so that this stream has a rewatchability factor. So if you're not catching this on air, you can rewatch it and still pull in some value for that. So the reason why I stream often in the mornings and the afternoons is because my evenings are not a good stream time for me, but I understand that is prime time. Okay, that is when everybody is around and active, and they got free time. You guys are like in school, you got your jobs and stuff. So I recognize that. What's up, Solanic? Good to see you, man. So the reason that is because I'm in a temporary living condition. Okay, I'm getting real with you guys, right? I'm in a one-bedroom apartment right now. I'm in my living room, and when my wife comes home from work, we both share the living room. It's our only space. It's a one-bedroom apartment. So we are moving into a house after this summer where I plan on actually building a real YouTube studio where I can actually look like a Star Wars YouTuber. But for now, it's just me, an average guy in his living room. So for the people that stick around for me right now, I appreciate you guys, and just know that things are going to change for me within the next few months. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about Kenobi, Boba, Bad Batch, just some of my predictions. And if you guys want to weigh in with your comments at all, then feel free to do so. And if we get enough engagement in this video, then I'll drop a join link and you guys can join the stream, talk with me live. So let's start off with Kenobi. And until people start showing up and commenting, I'm just going to ramble. So don't mind me. So Kenobi, something that we're obviously going to see is a lot of PTSD, right? That's a given. But something that I've been thinking about is what kind of conflicts is Obi-Wan actually going to have? When we think about each episode, because there's not going to be very many episodes. I think there's only going to be like 6 episodes. What conflict is Obi-Wan going to have to overcome at the end of each episode? Is each episode going to be a massive cliffhanger that leads into the next one where there is no conflict that is solved? Or are there going to be little mini adventures? I think Obi-Wan, like the show, is going to be too massive for these mini adventures. Oh, thanks, Lanik. I appreciate that, man. What's up, Average? Good to see you. So yeah, Obi-Wan conflicts. So we know that he's, his job is to protect Luke. We know he's going to be battling PTSD. We also know that Vader's in the mix in there somewhere. But like, I'm really having a hard time trying to imagine what each episode is going to look like, because he's definitely going to like have to protect Luke, right? He's going to bail Luke out of some situation at some point. But after that, I have no idea what else they're going to show us. Is he's just going to like always like save Luke from bullies at school? Like, I don't know. Yeah, if you guys have any ideas. But so Luke is for sure going to happen at least once. With the Vader thing, that's kind of like it's not a very long series, but the episodes are going to be long. So I really can't see Vader getting a lot of airtime. I think he's maybe going to get 1/3 of the airtime. So what I would like to see is 2 storylines running parallel. I'd like to see Obi-Wan's storyline running, and I'd like to see Vader's story running parallel. And then like it'd be 10 minutes of Obi-Wan, 10 minutes of Vader, 10 minutes of Obi-Wan, 10 minutes of Vader. We go back and forth. I'd love to see that. Lord, oh, good to see you, man. Lord Crid, conflict of faith. He's having a hard time connecting with Qui-Gon because he knows he failed to kill Vader. That's interesting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So he's going to have these personal mental conflicts, right? But that's one I hadn't really thought about. He wasn't able to kill Anakin, and so he's unable to connect to Qui-Gon. So that's a good discussion on it in itself, right? Like, is Qui-Gon going to be around or not? Is he going to be a Force ghost? Is he just going to be a voice? But so that's the thing. Like, this is a really good point, because he might struggle to connect with Qui-Gon, but it's like, how is that going to look on TV? Is it just going to be him like this? Oh, I screwed up. They're going to have to make this look entertaining somewhat. I mean, it doesn't have to be for me, but but I'd be interested to see how they're going to actually put that on the screen. What's up, Strike? Good to see you. Kind of like Luke from The Last Jedi, but executed much better. Okay, yeah. I could definitely see that. Definitely like some of those hermit vibes, right? So um, internal conflict, definitely, but it's hard to see how that's going to look on screen. So there's also the discussion of Obi-Wan facing off with Vader and how that is going to look. So Kathleen Kennedy opened her mouth about some fight, and it got everybody all worked up. And now we don't know if Obi-Wan's actually going to fight Vader or not. So now we're thinking, is there going to be another fight in there, or some kind of rematch? Right now, people are wondering, is it going to be Darth Maul rematching against Obi-Wan? We really don't know, and it really seems I don't know why she said that. I just feel like I don't know how much hype it generated. I feel like it just generated a lot more confusion than anything. So I think in order to preserve A New Hope, they're going to have to be really, really crafty. Slanik, you think Kenobi versus Maul? I'm just not really sure if Maul's going to be in it, to be honest. Again, it's a very short show. I just don't. How much, when you think about such a short show, how much airtime are they going to want to devote to different stories and different arcs, right? So it's fun to theorize all these characters and all these different stories, but really it's gonna. I feel like the plot is gonna have to be something somewhat simple, So I feel like throwing Maul in the mix. You already have Obi-Wan, you already have Vader, you already have Luke Skywalker. Like, holy cow, what a cast that's going to be. Throwing Darth Maul in there, I don't know how they're going to swing that. Hey, what's up, Simple Man? Good to see you. Kind of disappointed about Hayden coming back, unless it's flashbacks only. It'd be cool to see Vader versus Kenobi rematch, but it kind of lessens the impact of A New Hope. Yep, I'm with you there. It would be very cool. I'm happy to see Hayden back as Vader, but like, just thinking of it like just as a fanboy, it's very exciting. But logistically, it is a nightmare to try and see how they're going to do this, because they're bringing back Hayden. They're bringing back Hayden, a fan favorite, to play the most iconic masked character of all time. So, like, how much of Vader is going to be, like, is he going to have his mask on? Are we really going to see Hayden? How are they doing the voice? Are they getting James Earl Jones to do the voice again? It's just kind of like Vader's tricky, man. There's so many moving parts for him. So when we do see Hayden, is it going to be in flashbacks, or is it going to be when he's got his helmet off and he's in a state of meditation, which would be very cool to see. But this is kind of our only chance to see Vader post Order 66 and his early life stages. We may never get this opportunity again. This opportunity with Obi-Wan it's just too good. So I feel like they have to do something really cool with Vader. They've been really holding back on us with Vader. They're scared to use him. They're scared to screw it up somehow. I don't blame them. Vader is like the best, most iconic villain of all time. A little bit of a rant there. The story of Kenobi that gets familiar on Tatooine, Jabba the Hutt, Mos Eisley, Tuskens. I think so. I think so. When I think of Kenobi, I think that it's going to be very on Tatooine, struggles on Tatooine. Like one episode could be Kenobi. He has to go to town, and he gets mixed up in some kind of like crime situation with like thugs and stuff. But he doesn't want to use the Force. He doesn't have his lightsaber with him because he didn't want to bring it with him or something like that. Like he's put in a situation where if he used his Jedi powers, he'd be out of there like that. But he doesn't want to out himself because maybe for some reason there's a stormtrooper over there or something, right? So that's one episode there. We got Luke, something about the Empire finding Luke or something. That's one episode there. That's kind of how I'm seeing these conflicts. I want some Obi-Wan searching his mind and reliving the moments with Anakin. Yeah, I think we're definitely flashbacks. I mean, they're a must, right? We have to see them. I want Obi-Wan to show us that he feels alone and is transitioning to his old man mindset. Subtle and effective hints. I think subtlety is going to be key. Something nice and slow. I want to see. This is the thing. I wanted it would be awesome if they just had him thinking. Like we could just hear his thoughts. Because how are they gonna display Obi-Wan in this turmoil if he's not talking and thinking? And option A is flashbacks. right? We see Obi-Wan going through these. We see him just kind of like thinking about something. Flashback kicks in. Him and Anakin doing something. Cuts back to Obi-Wan. Then he expresses some kind of emotion remembering that, right? Option 2 is that he totally lost my train of thought. Option 2 is that Qui-Gon enters the mix pretty early on, and Qui-Gon is kind of his the place where he can talk and express his thoughts and feelings. And Qui-Gon is going to act not as like a super important character, but more for the viewers that we can see what Obi-Wan's thinking, just to be a vessel for us to hear Obi-Wan's thoughts, so Obi-Wan can just vent to the guy. All right, see you later, Star Wars Simple Man. I appreciate that. Thank you. I think you left the stream already, but thank you. I appreciate that. Young Luke Skywalker that gets in trouble and Ben is helping in the background without him noticing it. Yeah, like that fan film. I always think of that fan film now, but what kind of trouble is Luke going to get into? You know, I wonder how much of this show is going to be Obi-Wan watching Luke. Could this show end up being, because I didn't realize it until I was on Star Wars Santa stream yesterday, but like we keep thinking Obi-Wan Vader, but a large part of the show could really just be Obi-Wan and Luke. Right? It could be most of the episodes, just him watching from afar, something like that. I hear rumors that the story involved Kenobi leaves Tatooine temporarily due to a Jedi Hunter squadron. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to leave Tatooine. If he does, it's going to be max one episode. I feel like they're going to want to keep him there. Because if he leaves the planet, he could just get into too much trouble. If he leaves the planet, I feel like he's going to be hiding somewhere. And I don't know, like, could this whole show just be Obi-Wan on the run, right? That could be that tension. I don't know if you guys have seen the show Prison Break, but the Prison Break is like 4 seasons of these guys looking over. They break out of prison, spoiler, and they're just looking over their shoulders the whole time. So is it going to be that kind of tension? Inquisitor is... So when we think about, I feel like they're going to have to, he's going to have to bust his lightsaber out at some point. And if it's just him hacking down Tusken Raiders or something, it's not going to be that exciting. Even Stormtroopers are kind of meh. So I think an Inquisitor would be a really good way of allowing us to see Obi-Wan use his lightsaber skills. And it makes sense. They sent these guys out to find and hunt and kill Jedi. And he's going to wipe the floor with this Inquisitor. But it's... Okay, I shouldn't say wipe the floor. It's going to be a good battle because they're going to want it to be entertaining. But he's going to win. The Inquisitor's not going to get a chance to broadcast where Obi-Wan is. Or maybe he does. Maybe the Inquisitor does broadcast where he is, and that's what leads Vader to Tatooine. But even then, this whole thing about Vader talking to Obi-Wan. Okay, this is my prediction. Okay, I don't think we're going to see a Vader Obi-Wan fight. I don't think it's going to happen if we're going to preserve A New Hope. I don't even think we're going to see Vader and Obi-Wan in the same room because Vader says, I haven't felt this in a long time, which that happens when he senses Obi-Wan on the Death Star. So I feel like if they're in the same room together, is Vader going to be referencing, I haven't felt this since, and it's very vague. So it could be, I haven't felt this presence since we met on Tatooine, though, all those years ago, because A New Hope is going to be how many years later? Like 20 years later? That's still a very long time. So maybe we could get a fight in there, actually, now that I think about it. That's a really long time. But, and that would mean that Vader is going to lose to Obi-Wan because Vader wouldn't consider himself the master yet. I got your comment that we're not even talking about Inquisitors anymore. I'm just theorizing. If Vader fights Obi-Wan and Vader loses, he's going to want to keep that under wraps. He's not going to tell anybody, and he's going to be utterly humiliated, and it's just going to fuel his anger. So maybe that would still make sense that when Vader fights Obi-Wan in A New Hope, he still feels like Obi-Wan was still the master because he's still lost. So that could preserve that too, actually. But I'll share my initial theory, and that is that Vader and Obi-Wan have a discussion over like a hologram or something where they're not in the same room. Vader, they don't sense each other, right? Because it's just like it's a screen conversation. Okay, that was a long rant again. That's what we do on this channel. We do real talk. Obi-Wan watching Luke from a distance, maybe tearing up. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of feels. I'm actually I don't think this channel is going to be a watch party kind of channel, but I will do watch parties for Kenobi. Obi-Wan and Anakin or Vader, it's my favorite dynamic. It's my favorite. It's my favorite part of Star Wars. The Clone Wars era is my favorite for that reason. So I am going to do watch parties for that. So, and reactions and all those videos. I think Jawa will steal Kenobi's ship. Yeah, I think, will Jabba be in the Kenobi show? Yeah, I mean, I think that he could get mixed up in the crime scene somehow. I think Obi-Wan's he's gonna get tangled up in some sort of I can't speak, some sort of crime operation, and he's gonna have to get himself out of a jam somehow. And Jawa could be involved, right? We have no idea. The whole Kenobi show could be Jabba could be the villain, one of the main villains looming over the whole time. You're on fire today, Solanic. Well, Obi-Wan thinks he killed Vader. Maybe you can sense Force users on Tatooine, or Ben do something to prevent him. This is why he has to stay on Tatooine as a hermit. Obi-Wan thinks he killed Vader. Does he? Does he think that he killed Anakin? I'm not sure. I would assume that he thought that, because he didn't much. If you guys remember this, when Obi-Wan realized that Vader was alive and around, I know that's out there. I've heard it before. I just can't remember. But I can't remember if Obi-Wan thought that he killed Anakin or not. Yo, what's up, Aramal? What's up? It's Legend. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Lord Crit says, I kind of wish they didn't announce Vader. I personally would have loved a Kenobi show that had been Obi-Wan going to war with the Crimson Dawn. That would have been very cool. I think, dude, that's comment of the stream so far, as far as I'm concerned. That would have been really cool. And then we could have focused on that Obi-Wan Darth Maul dynamic. That would have been sick, honestly. The thing about Darth Maul, from a creative standpoint, I feel like they told Darth Maul's story pretty well. Like, I almost feel like this is just me, okay? This is just how I feel. But I almost feel like we've gotten so much Darth Maul. We all love Darth Maul. But I want to see some other people highlighted. This is a fantastic storyline. I think that this is a great idea. But since Darth Vader's already going to be in it, I just can't see Maul being in it. I just feel like they're going to be competing for spotlight or something like that. What's up, Braden? Sorry if that's the wrong account. I'll shout out your next one. I've done that. I've gone to other people's streams on wrong YouTube accounts, and then I've been there. Kenobi learns he didn't kill Vader in the comics. He was having a drink in Mos Eisley. Right. Okay, I think I've heard something like that. Yeah. So maybe we're going to see that moment. There's going to be a lot of tension, a lot of silent tension. So I'm just reading you guys' comments here. The Kenobi book is Legends now. Yo, what's up, X-Wing? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Matt Risman, also good to see you. Awesome. For anyone just joining in, we're speculating on the Kenobi show. So we've been talking about what conflicts Obi-Wan's going to go through, whether or not we're going to see Darth Maul or not, how much Darth Vader we're going to see. And we're trying to see how we're going to preserve A New Hope. We're just we're just totally speculating. We're just totally discussing, and I'm having a good time with it. But if you guys had to think, who would be one villain? Because is there going to be one overarching villain throughout the whole show, or is it going to be a few minor villains, like some crime bosses? We're going to get some Jawa. One Jawa is the villain. No, are we going to get Jabba? Right? Or who knows, man? Inquisitors, yeah, we talked about that briefly earlier. I think that we're going to see. I think seeing an Inquisitor is a really good bet, because we think about Obi-Wan's going to be trying to hide his Jedi abilities. He's going to keep that under wraps, and I think that's going to get him into a lot of trouble in the show. But I think an Inquisitor is going to give him an excuse to bust his lightsaber out. We're going to see him go to town, right? It's going to be an epic battle, so it's going to scratch that itch. We're going to see a little bit more of his lightsaber skills. But I think that's going to be why we're going to see it. They're going to be so we're going to see things that are going to be vessels for us to see Obi-Wan do other things, right? So we're going to see an Inquisitor so we can see Obi-Wan fight. We're going to see Qui-Gon as a Force ghost because it's going to allow us to hear Obi-Wan vent and talk to a trusted companion. We're going to see, we're just going to see things that allow us to see Obi-Wan doing stuff. I don't think we'll see Maul. I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Vader's got to have a bunch of people looking for his ass. Yeah, that's true. So currently, I'm coming up with like new ideas as we go along here. So an Inquisitor is going to come to the planet. He's going to get his ass kicked by Obi-Wan. It's going to be a good battle, but he's going to lose. And he's going to broadcast that he found a Jedi on Tatooine. Might send Vader to Tatooine. It might broadcast that information. Strike to BH. We could see some Crimson Dawn. I'd really like to see more Crimson Dawn, especially after Solo. I mean, obviously more live action Maul would be awesome, but we don't necessarily have to see Maul to see the Crimson Dawn. If we do see the Crimson Dawn, Maul could just always be that holograph, right? He could just be that villain looming in the background. We don't really see a lot of him, and we can get Ray Park. We could get Sam Witwer. You know, we could. Man, this could really turn out to be an all-star cast. Cartel and Huts are going to be an issue most likely. Yeah, he's going to get himself into himself into some kind of bind. So with his not being able to use his Jedi abilities. So I had a few points here on the Kenobi show, and I think I hit all of them. I had a really good talk with Star Wars Santa yesterday about this, and that is that if there's going to be a young Luke Skywalker, which no one's talking about, frankly, I think everyone's so focused on Obi-Wan and Vader, we're not even talking about the Luke Skywalker potential in the show. They released the whole cast, but they didn't release any child actors, so we don't know. They didn't announce this, like whatever child is going to be playing Luke. Maybe they're trying to keep the heat off kids for the meantime. Maybe they're trying to make it a secret. Maybe they just didn't think that it really mattered because it's going to be some kid we've never heard of before. But it's interesting to think about, and that Luke is going to be probably a bigger part of the show than we think. It's hard to imagine now because he's going to be just like a kid getting into trouble, but I'm sure Obi-Wan's going to get him out of some binds. Let's move on to Boba, right? This is actually a good transition because Boba is also on Tatooine. That's why I kind of wanted to group these things together. Actually, I'm just going to read your comment here, Crit, before we move on. I don't think Vader's coming to Tatooine, which is why Kenobi is leaving the planet. Okay, that could be Vader coming to Tatooine could be too huge for Vader's character, right? It might not happen, so that could make sense that he leaves. If Vader knew Kenobi was on Tatooine, then he would look under every rock and cranny and endanger Luke more. Oh, so you're saying Kenobi knows Vader's on his way, so Kenobi leaves to draw Vader away from the planet. Crit, you're killing it, man. I don't know what else to say. We're gonna have a chat, me and you, yet about this. Actually, I'm gonna drop the link to this chat in my Discord. If anyone wants to come on and chat, I've never done this before on the channel, but if anyone wants to join me, feel free. The link is there. Discord link's in the description. I would want them to take the heat off the child actors, since I think that's pretty accurate. In my opinion, a story in which Kenobi will go to adapt. Wait, hang on, I got stumbled. In my opinion, a story in which Kenobi will have to adapt to Tatooine life, get in a fight with a Tusken and a Jawa. Just the Jawa thing makes me laugh. I don't know why. He's just gonna fight one Jawa, and he's gonna learn that Vader is Anakin, and that we're gonna get some big revelations for sure. He would have to figure out a way to protect Luke from danger, but also a way to, it's fun to just speculate. Like I'm not a huge news channel, as you guys are aware. I just like to talk, which is why I called it Real Talk. I just like to speculate. I'm kind of not really a theory channel. It's just fun to talk about. So speaking of, I'm so horrible at transitioning. Yeah, the finding out Vader is Anakin is going to be rough. Yeah, we're gonna see Obi-Wan in the bar just crushing some drinks. At that point, he's just gonna abandon everything. But yeah, I am gonna be doing the watch parties for this. Every Star Wars channel is gonna be doing watch parties. None of us are gonna get viewers because we're all gonna be doing watch parties at the same time. Okay, right on, Strike. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. I'm gonna attempt to move on to a Boba discussion, but if you guys still want to talk Kenobi, then you can just drop your comments, whatever. Boba. Is Boba gonna be largely on Tatooine? That is the biggest question in my mind. Because when I think Boba, I think Tatooine because he just took the throne. But the thing with him being on the throne is where does he go now? He's already at the top, right? I think that the Book of Boba could have been an entire show about him rising in the ranks or just like Boba's quest to take the throne. Because that's a story we get it. You know, he feels it's owed to him. We get his motivations. But I don't have a damn clue what Boba's motives are going to be for this show. Because he's taken the throne of one of the largest crime boss or criminal organizations. So is he going to just keep trying to take over things and accumulate power? Because like from a viewing standpoint, how is that gonna look? Like what are we gonna see him do? Is he just gonna hunt people down? Because like that's gonna be cool and everything, but how are we gonna build sympathy for this character? How are we gonna, if we don't understand what his motives are, how are we gonna care? Is basically what I'm saying. If we have to understand why he's doing what he's doing, so that we care about the show. I mean, he's very cool. He does cool things, but I mean, the thing about Din is that in The Mandalorian is that Grogu became his source of motivation, right? He was this character. He didn't have much expression. He wore a helmet all the time. We didn't know what he cared about. He was just trying to make money. He was just doing little guild runs, right? It was only until Grogu entered the mix that we started to understand him as a character. And now he's doing these things, but we are understanding that he is an empathetic person. He does care about things. The motivation was keeping Grogu alive and seeing his character develop. So we've taken a stoic, stone cold character, and we've made people care about them, right? Din's very cool. Boba's very cool, but what is going to make us care about them as a character in the show, right? Like if Boba's going to have his awesome fight scenes, and then what? Boba getting his revenge, it would make sense to see Windu. I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, that's a really good point. So if Mace Windu is going to be in any show, I could really see it being this one. I don't know what other show Mace Windu could be in. This one makes the most sense because he has that connection to Boba. I don't know what connection he's going to have to any other character in any other show, unless a new show is going to develop in some way. Maybe Ahsoka meets up with Mace Windu. Maybe we're going to get that moment where Mace Windu calls Ahsoka a civilian, and everyone's going to laugh, and it's going to be a joyous time. But anyway, I think if Boba and Mace Windu, like I could see this being the whole plot of Boba. Boba finds out Mace Windu's alive. This is the whole flip of Vader and Kenobi, right? We could see Boba on a manhunt for Mace Windu. Boba hops in the Slave One. We don't even see him on Tatooine. He's like, I got the throne. I don't care about that anymore. I'm hunting down Mace Windu. And hang on, I should read comments. Now motivated to fight for his father's legacy. Yeah, I feel you. You see Samuel Jackson's tweet? I didn't. Mace ain't done. Yeah, I did see that. So if Mace, so this could be, if Kenobi is going to be a show where we have Obi-Wan and Vader, maybe parallel storylines, Book of Boba could be the same thing. Really could. We could get a storyline about Boba, storyline about Mace Windu, and we could see both worlds. So Strike has entered the mix. I'm going to add him to the stream. Throw my headphones on. If anybody else wants to join, feel free. What's up, Strike? Welcome here.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Good to see you. So what are your thoughts on some of this Boba talk?
The Boba talk? Yeah, I mean, I'm totally down. Like, I mean, Boba has been like one of my favorite characters, like even before the Mandalorian. I mean, most of the people that probably like were into the character and were like reading some stuff about him, like already were fans of him before the really good stuff that we saw in Mando.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mando basically was like, yeah, everything you've read, that's who it is, and
Mm.
yeah. So
So what do you think his what do you think Boba's motivation is going to be? What do you think is going to be his driving force?
you know, that's kind of like the interesting part, right? Because like I mean, in the original trilogy, I mean, he's sort of like the background character. He's for the bounty. He obviously kind of just doesn't seem to like Han Solo too much. Um, but like in Mando, he's all about like the Mandalorian code with like, yeah, we'll stick to you until the kid is safe. And
Mm.
then for the teaser of Book of Boba Fett, we see. I mean, it's kind of depending on like we still don't know what exactly he's up to, but it could be power, it could be that motivation, um, or just revenge. I could
Yeah.
see Boba just being for revenge.
See, revenge is a strong driving force, and it's something that
Mm,
we all understand. So it doesn't. I think revenge is really good because we're all going to get it right away. We're going to be behind Boba because we're all going to cheer for Boba,
right.
and that's all. That's all we're going to need.
Yeah.
Uh,
Totally.
X-wing. They released the plot line for the Book of Boba. They did. It's going to recap his life from Return of the Jedi and on. Easy to
Nice.
do so because he'll be played by someone younger in a helmet. Really?
Oh. Oh, that's interesting.
This is news to me.
I
They're not
didn't know
getting
that.
they're not getting Tamara to do it. Why would they bring him back into
Well,
Mandalorian?
I guess the ones where it's not Chamorro would be flashbacks of his younger version.
Oh yeah, right.
But I guess like in the Mando timeline, uh, it would still be Chamorro, of course.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Um, just reading some of these comments here. Yeah, that would be cool. I never really considered the fact that there could be a lot of flashback stuff, and Boba would be very easy to do flashback stuff with because uh, he's in a helmet, and
You're right. Yeah.
we have voice actors that can do his job. So,
Also,
like,
my number one reason why I want live action Clone Wars something.
yeah, yeah, exactly. We could get Bradley D. Baker could do his voice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Lord Crit's joining. Okay, this is good. Lord Crit's had some really banger theories.
Yeah, there were some really good ones.
Yeah. So if there is a parallel story between Boba and Mace Windu, is Mace Windu what is Mace Windu going to do in this show if he's going to be in it? Like, is he just going to be hiding? Like, I can't see him being that kind of guy, but I mean, he probably has to. Like, is it going to be it's very similar to Kenobi? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think with Mace could be very interesting because, like, I mean, there are all of these theories. Like, if he would have survived, would he have been turning more to the dark side? Maybe he would have
Mm,
stayed true. I think Mace could like is a character that we can not really predict
yeah.
that confidently in what he would do because he is sort of like that niche character. Also, kind of because he's like one of the only ones that used Vapod.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that those are really good points. I'm not Mace Windu turning to the is he's always been so comfortable with the dark side. Could definitely see him using that as a coping mechanism to get through. But that's also, that it's a good question. How many Jedi just abandoned the code completely once they started getting gunned down?
Right, and I mean there were quite a few that turned to be like did not necessarily became inquisitors, but definitely like started to use their power for their own good because they felt,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, because they felt like that now they have to carry for themselves because like the code always told you like you care about others, like always have the the best from other species, people,
Mm.
before your own life. So yeah, I could totally see like some Jedi just turning on the code and yeah, being rogue.
Yeah, I mean, look at Malicos from Fallen Order.
Right.
Exactly what he did
That's
after Order
yeah.
66. He dipped, he went to a planet, and he's like, I'm going to use all of my power to take control of this place, and they're going to worship me like a god.
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually like the best example because he didn't join the Empire, but he's obviously a dark Jedi. So yeah, that's totally like the greatest example I think we can give from recent media of Star Wars.
Yeah. Mace would be a broken man. He lost all he worked for. He's probably crazy, maybe a hermit. I could see, I mean, maybe the fact that it's Samuel L. Jackson impacts this, but I could see Mace Windu just being just a little bit nuts. You know, he's still keeping it together, but he's constantly on the brink of just snapping someone.
Yeah, and also like Mace Windu has always been very arrogant. Like he has been
Oh my
nice.
gosh.
Hey, what's up, dude?
That's
Well, how you
amazing.
guys doing?
Dude,
That's
that's
amazing.
awesome.
We're doing good. How are you doing?
I couldn't find my mic, so I had my camera, so I had to make do.
Yeah. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. So what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, I was gonna say the same thing about Mace Windu. I'm like one of those dubious people. Uh, yeah, about Mace Windu. I don't necessarily believe he's alive because I think it would lessen the impact of Revenge of the Sith, and I sort of like roll my eyes when people bring it up. However, if they're gonna bring Vader back to Kenobi, which I think is a horrible idea, I think they're gonna then they might bring Mace Windu's possibility, but
So why do you think? So why are you against Vader and Mace Windu? Just bringing them back.
uh, I I know people bring it up a lot, but I think Mace Windu being alive it lessens the impact of Anakin's turn to the dark side because that was a very important moment. So him coming back to live is sort of like, hey, I survived the fall.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
And so I kind of like, so yeah, people bring it up all the time. It's cool and all. It's kind of what but it's very fanficky to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then again, they got Hayden Christensen to come back as Darth Vader. I don't know if he's coming back for flashbacks or he's going to be in the suit. We'll have to see. He was in the suit in Revenge of the Sith, if I gotta remind you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, go ahead, man.
If I can, so I totally agree with you on the Vader. I'm also like still thinking about like, okay, if they introduce him, like in what sort of way can they bring him in so he's actually like relevant for the story but not break A New Hope. But for the Boba stuff, like obviously it all started like with the connection between the two in the Geonosian arena where Mace killed Jango in front of him. That was basically the head start of the hatred that Boba like developed for Mace. And we do see that continue in Clone Wars. With the few attempts that he does on Mace's life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and also, one of the scrap drafts of Revenge of the Sith, was that Boba was actually supposed to kill Mace, but that was scrapped because George Lucas like did the math, and Boba would have been a bit too young to be a serious threat for Mace, so that's kind of why that didn't happen. But honestly, it would be very much in the sense of what Star Wars is about, going full circle. The whole relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan, it went from introducing them on Tatooine, then becoming Padawan and Master, brothers, Bala Mustafar, enemies. and in A New Hope, basically like resolving it forever with Vader sort of killing Obi-Wan. So I mean, I could see why it would make sense to make it full circle in that case.
All right, I understand that. Boba and Maul's like history with each other. Again, I don't like it necessarily, but hey, okay then.
Oh, that's totally fine.
Yeah, you're real with your thoughts, man. I respect that.
There was one thing though I do want to see, and I wonder if they're gonna do it. The Boba versus Kate Bane fight where he got the dent in his helmet. I wonder if they're gonna do that.
Right. I mean, with the flashbacks, that could work out. What X-Wing sent, that the news about the flashbacks. I mean, they could maybe include that.
Yeah, it is good. It is called the Book of Boba, which sounds like it's like a book of his life or a history book or something like that. So I could definitely see all these things happening. The Mace Windu thing could be like, it could be one of those shows where there's like a storyline happening, but there's like all these reasons for flashbacks happening. So there could be this Mace Windu thing, like he's hunting down Mace Windu, which made him think about the death of his father, which made him recall on his life from the point on up to this. So his conclusion could be meeting up with Mace at some point, and then that's kind of maybe nothing happens at the end. Maybe they face each other and then it cuts to black and that's the end of the season or something like that.
I did mention in the two Star Wars Nerds Hangar Bay community stream, I think I would love to see like Boba Fett. Have you seen the movie Hang 'em High with Clint Eastwood? Like highly. Well, it's about Clint Eastwood and he gets almost like killed by these group of bandits, and then he survives. So he goes on like a one-man vendetta on each of these bandits, and that's sort of the movie. And I was thinking, some people wronged Boba. No one helped him, when he was basically nearly dead. And now that he's got all his stuff together, it's it's time to get the fisticuffs off.
Yeah, it's a new game.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your comment earlier? I'm just scrolling up to see if I can find that. Was it something about the Crimson Dawn being a factor?
Oh, yeah. I had imagined, and I wish they would have gone with this idea. Maybe they should hire me at Lucasfilm. I don't know. They won't.
Hire me.
They could have explained the whole Maul and Kira thing that was in Solo. They could have gone with that. And Kenobi, like, Tatooine was run by the Hutts. Well, what if Crimson Dawn came in? But the way they handle things is deadly. And Kenobi, like, and these Crimson Dawn criminals are basically hustling Uncle Owen and Beru and endangering Luke. And so Obi-Wan investigates, and then he finds out who's behind the chair, and he decides to like go on a mission to get these people out. And then Maul finds out about it and goes after, and like, I'll finally get my revenge against Kenobi. And I would have liked to see that too. And I felt like that was what they're gonna go with. You can't have Vader on Tatooine, but you can have Darth Maul. And
can you though? Because what about the Rebels Maul Kenobi?
They can't make it too direct contact.
It doesn't have to all be on Tatooine. Kenobi could leave the planet for 2 episodes. Like, he's not going to leave unless it's. I would believe this, unless it's the most important thing. Like, if he knows if he leaves the planet, he's going to protect Luke. That would, I would understand that. But it was never explained how Crimson Dawn like came to an end and how Maul ended up on that planet in Rebels. I don't remember Rebels that much, so
it was pretty vague. It was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it was him just hunting kind of off screen a
Yeah,
little
at
bit.
some point it seemed like that he either like just said, "Yeah, Crimson Dawn is over, boys. I'm going hunting now," or that something came in, maybe the Empire and crushed his whole syndicate. But it's pretty open. It's left
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, these are all really good ideas. But
I
now I
do-
guess go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't want to take over.
No, it's all good. I was just gonna say, now we have, just like we have to consider preserving A New Hope. Now I feel like we have to preserve that Darth Maul death scene that we got in Rebels, because that was so perfect and beautiful. I could really,
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
keep
but
that
you can
secret.
redo it in live action. I mean,
True, because they were kind of vague about Maul hunting Obi-Wan. So, but Obi-Wan's not going to be that old, so it would have to be
Right. It
future.
like in it wouldn't, like, at least if they like completely stay in the same time frame, it wouldn't make sense timeline wise. But yeah, I mean, any Maul Obi-Wan stuff is welcomed, I think.
yeah, I'm down for anything like Boba Fett. I mean,
Yeah.
look at me.
And like I think I've seen like some of streamers doing that, but like, how does it work? Like, is it like virtual?
So it's kind of like you have a virtual camera, and I'm in like my stream room, private, and it's basically like your virtual room.
Mm.
And I have a stream camera, so it's looking at me. So I can do all this thing moving around my hands.
Yeah,
Like
you look
I'm
like
like,
you're in a ship. just the kind of the angle of your camera makes you look like you're kind of sitting back.
I could go into a ship.
Yeah, next like if you can do it, or like next time, like make it a cockpit.
Yeah, for real.
Oh yeah, the slave one.
Yeah. And by the way, how cool was it the first time we saw like Slave One working from the inside, like with turning?
It was
You're
everything.
making-
All those cockpit scenes were so good.
You're making me ooze with Boba Fett. God, that was a childhood dream. I love The Mandalorian. It's the godsend for us fans, you know.
It was. Yeah, it opened a lot of doors to what live action can be for us. And TV shows might be the way.
Right.
After what we've seen from theatricals, yeah, definitely the way.
Old Ben, watch out.
Well, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream here. Strike and Lord Crit, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to boot you from the stream now while I do my outro.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, that was a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to change my thumbnail because we never talked about Bad Batch. There's just too much stuff to talk about with Obi-Wan and Boba Fett. So maybe we'll save that for another stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys aren't in the Discord yet, the link's in the description. I dropped it in the live chat as well. Please join the Discord. We're trying to build a community there. We're having a lot of fun there, and you get all the updates on my channel. Everything's there first. So I'd plug the Instagram, but no one goes there anyway, so screw it. Just the Discord. Let's just focus on the Discord. Thank you guys so much for watching. May the Force be with you.